Welcome to the RAMcast, where we talk about all things related to Sioux Valley. This is your host, Brian Kirby, co-host Jimmy Sickler.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mr. Kirby. Happy to be here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy you're here. Once again, this year we are doing our special editions. This one is our teacher questions. And today we have none other than the Miss Jennifer Keenan.
Yay! Hi,
All right.
thanks for having me.
All right. And without further ado, let's get this show rolling. All right. Hello, Miss Keenan. Why don't you tell us the name of your high school, the town, state, and what the mascot was?
Okay. I went to Rochester High School, class of 1991 in Rochester, Michigan. And I'm trying to think of the mascot. Oh, we were the Mighty Falcons.
Okay.
All right, go Falcons.
Yep, that's right. We were pretty powerful.
So, what band, song, TV show, movie, or hobby have you been listening to or watching for fun lately?
Well, lately I've been watching a show called Blown Away on Netflix, and it's about glass blowing. It's a competitive reality show, and I love it. And each episode, these glass blowers get this challenge, and then I like to try to think about what I would do if I had ever blown glass in my entire life, and B had all of the resources to do it.
That show is fantastic. I can honestly say I've watched all the seasons and the Christmas special.
The Christmas special is special indeed. I actually really love it.
So, yeah, super good one. I agree with that. All right. Which teacher had the most impact on you, and what do you remember about them?
That's a toughie, because I can remember we've all had these different teachers from all these different parts of our lives. So, there was like Mrs. Hamilton in elementary school and Mr. Lawson in high school who taught me how to write a paper. So my teaching is modeled after his. I had Mr. Marty in high school who built his own boat and tried to sail around the world. And he taught me that you can do crazy things. And then in college, I had Professor Hillix, who was this guy who just believed in me, and it was pretty amazing. And then my mentor teacher, Mary Griffin, who taught me how to be a teacher. So all these people had these huge positive impacts on my life and kind of taught me how to think in new ways. So they're special. Some of them are gone now, so may they rest in peace. But some of them are still with us.
Were any in a boating accident? A self-built boating accident?
Mr. Marty hit a coral reef in Fiji.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the story, it was so cool because he was always telling these stories, and he had slides from like Easter Island and all this cool stuff. And there was a hole in the bottom of his boat.
Ooh.
He was having it towed in, and the tow line snapped. And so his boat sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and he had no insurance because he's like working on a teacher's salary or whatever and doing this huge trip. And so that is why he was back at Rochester High School, home of the Mighty Falcons. And he was awesome teacher and just really, really inspiring, with a great head of hair.
Awesome. I can relate. Mr. Kirby can relate.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was good.
All right. What was your favorite extracurricular activity?
I was a runner. I loved track, and it was my whole life. That's an easy one.
All right. So what does Miss Keenan do outside of school for fun?
I run. And I do art sometimes. Sometimes I do art in school, though. And so when I get home, I'm actually tired of being creative. So a lot of times I do the exercise stuff at home. And as my children are getting older, I recognize how important it is to spend time with them. So I kind of do whatever they want a lot of times. We watch movies and hang out.
Does any of that revolve around making pancakes?
I do, as Mr. Kirby knows, I do indeed make pancakes every day. I make them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I used to make them sourdough pancakes till they all got sick of it. And so now they just get like straight up crusties and they're still happy.
There's nothing wrong with Krusty's pancakes.
They're
All
lucky
right.
if you ask me.
Moving on. When you were in school, what class did you find the most enjoyable and why?
Well, you see, Jimmy, I was not a big fan of school. I didn't like most of them, as I still today don't love it if it's sort of, reading stuff and answering questions. I always liked the classes that you really thought hard and maybe the classes were a little wild and had less structure. And so Mr. Marty, the guy who tried to sail around the world, he taught, I think it was a philosophy class that was
Hmm.
pretty awesome because we were just always talking. And then we had at Rochester this thing called Model United Nations. And it was really cool. And Mr. Marty taught that too. Excuse me. And you represented, like, each school got a certain amount of delegates. And like our school had 30 kids in this class or something. So I remember one year we were West Germany, because that is when West and East Germany were separate Germanys,
Mm-hmm.
and Cuba. And I
Oh,
got to be on the Security Council. So I felt like I was Fidel Castro, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then you would travel and go to this convention where you'd meet kids from all over the Midwest. And there were some kids from Mexico City, and you'd debate ideas. And it was actually really good. That was a really cool class. I learned a
yeah.
lot.
Sounds fun.
It was neat. Yeah.
Cool. So I think we had that same Model UN thing going at Palmer when I was there too. If
Did
I remember
you? I
correctly.
wonder if it was
We
like
did.
kind of a thing of that era, or I don't
Yeah.
know. It was a good idea.
All right. So with whom did you have your most meaningful relationship during your years as a student?
My goodness. I don't know. Oh, I know. I got one. Okay. My cousin Greg. You know Greg.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg. He's 2 years older than me, and we're still good friends. And he went to the rival high school. And this is for all those students out there. Greg was like the quarterback of their football team. We were huge schools. We graduated like 500 kids or whatever. And he was all fancy, but he did not like to party. He liked to live a really healthy lifestyle. And I was very similar. As athletes, we wanted to keep it healthy and positive. And so we found ourselves hanging out a lot on the weekends. And our parents would give us money, and we're like, why are they giving us money? But now I realize it's because they liked that we were hanging out a lot, and we would go to diners and watch movies and just do kids stuff. But it was nice to have that person to be with during all those kind of pressures.
Yeah. Awesome. What is something you have learned about yourself since you started working as a teacher?
Whew. There's been so much that I've learned about myself. And just learned from the experience of being a teacher and then having my own children. I remember at the very beginning, Mr. Clark, who was our principal, said something like, if you have your own kids, it's going to change the way you do everything. And I was kind of like resentful that he even said that and thought it was kind of rude. And he's so right. He was really right. And it does change a lot. So I've grown a lot of empathy, I think. Also, I did not consider myself much of a creative person before I became a teacher. And my first teaching job was in Florida, South Florida, right near the Everglades, at a camp for boys in the juvenile justice system.
Oh,
And they didn't have much art. And so I kind of just hopped in there and was like, oh, I'll help with this or whatever. And it kind of grew this like, oh, I kind of like this. And I had this really cool artistic roommate. So I learned more. And then same kind of thing happened here at Sioux Valley in 2000. There was not an art teacher. And I said, well, I'll try. Like, whatever, I'll jump in. And Mr. Clark let me. And it wasn't the most awesome in 2000, but I tried really hard. And it was before the internet was what it is today, too. So it was really like getting a lot of information from books. And a former teacher, Lori Evans, helped me quite a bit. And I tried and fell in love with it, and now really sort of enjoy teaching art and see myself as a more creative person.
Nice. Shout out Lori Evans. Nice job.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
Yes, very much so. Very much. All right. Knowing what you know now, what advice you give your younger self either entering high school or leaving for your post-secondary training?
Boy, and would you do it again? If somebody gave you the chance to do it all over again, would you do it all over again? That's what I think about, because we know it's hard, and
Yeah.
There's this thing in Buddhism called a bodhisattva, and it's a person who reaches enlightenment and they come back to try to help people reach enlightenment too. And I always think teachers are like secular bodhisattvas. Like, we knew high school was really, really hard. We made it through, but we decided to go back to try to help them get through. And so I think I would tell myself the same thing I tell students now, which is like, kind of stay your course, like be true to yourself. And it's okay. Like, I often tell my own children as well as my students, life is a lonely business. So you have to learn how to be lonely and be with yourself, and then it won't be so tough. And so I think I would tell myself that. And I think I would tell myself to like chill out a little.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Like, take a
I like
deep breath.
Good advice. Good advice. What is one of the most memorable moments you've had with your students, and why?
There's been so many amazing Sioux Valley moments. And the two that stand out the most are both through drama. In 2006, I directed Macbeth with some amazing students. Jacob Mannix starred as Macbeth, and Willow Feely and Paris White, and just so many really, really cool kids. J. David Nelson, who I just saw today, actually. And and we made it a project for the whole year, and we put it on in May. And it was clunky and obnoxious, and we did our best, but it was such a great learning experience and bonding experience. And likewise, in 2015, we were on the art team for The Tempest, and we decided to set that play in Arctic Alaska. So I was calling like the Inupiat Center in Barrow and like learning about art and culture, and the kids were, and we were just really trying to make it as authentic as we could. And it was this incredible, immersive experience, and with a great group of kids. And that play looked beautiful. So it was pretty neat.
Yes, agreed.
That's awesome. So with that being memorable, what might be your most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in front of students?
I'm totally skipping that question, moving right along.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So,
Okay. You can do
the
that.
last teacher workday is May 23rd, 2025. What are you doing after that day?
Well, my guess is not long after that day. What day of the week is that? Like a Thursday?
Mr. Kirby has it right there.
Technically, right now it's a Friday.
Okay. So I bet you that's regionals for track.
Yeah.
So I think I'll be outside helping with regions, and then hopefully going to state in a week after that, because that's amazing. And hopefully it'll be sunny and awesome. And then in the summer, I work at Talkeetna Spinach Bread, and that's really fun, and I love it. Yep. And then I usually go visit family in Michigan over the summer. I kind of do the same things all the time, but I love them. So it's good. It's a good life.
Is there a way to buy like a fast pass to the spinach bread in the summer?
Yeah, we can talk, Jimmy.
Okay.
I'll tell you the secret.
Talk off mic. All right.
It is pretty yummy.
Yes.
So that's kind of all the questions. You got anything else you want to add, Jen, or are you good?
I think I'm pretty good. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, I just want you to know I was a little bit shocked during this to not have a single Patty Bills reference.
I was actually,
Oh,
you know what? I was thinking, I have to say, I miss Patty every single day. Like every day I think about Patty. I had like 3 or 4 different Patty thoughts today and actually shared a couple stories. And if
nice.
you're listening, Patty, I should have put Patty in one of my teachers that had an impact on me because she was like my auntie. All those we worked together for 18 years, pretty much side by side. Even our portables were next door to each other when we were across the street. And I love her, and she taught me so much, and she's such a good friend to me. And I miss her every day. I walk by and look at her room like I used to, and it's not her, but it's
Not
other
her.
really nice people.
Uh,
Yeah, I miss the old crew. We had some really good years. We have really good years now, but I miss those middle years
yeah.
too as well.
All right. Well, this is going to conclude our special edition with the teacher spotlight here with Miss Keenan. And once again, this is your host, Mr. Kirby here, principal at Sioux Valley, and my co-host Jimmy.
Yes, had a blast. Thank you.
And again, our special guest. Thank you very much, Miss Keenan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast as another way to connect with our Sioux Valley community. Hope to see you at the next school event or around the community. Thanks for listening.